Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another video. And this is the the 17th episode of MLP, which is to change a changeling. Now, I have no idea what this episode is about. I can only assume because to change a changeling, it's about Thorax and other changelings. That's the only thing I can assume. So, without further ado, let's start the video. Starting the video in 3, 2. Oh, also, the only version I could find of this, it seems to be a bit blurry. I could be wrong. I hope it turns out better. But this is the only one that I could find. So, bear with me, please. Start the video in 3, 2, 1, click. Whoa, loud.
Ha! Straight to the Changeling Hive. I told you I could do it. Well, not exactly straight, Starlight. We've been popping all around Equestria, and we still have to walk. It's like 12 steps away. Before Chrysalis's throne was destroyed, the closest magic would have gotten us was way over there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy do you think Thorax is going to be about our surprise visit? Definitely.
They're adorable.
I mean, who wouldn't be happy at the chance to marvel at the overwhelming talent that is the great and powerful Trixie?
Oh my gosh, they brought that back.
Trixie, we're coming to offer Thorax encouragement and support. His letters make it seem like the responsibilities of being the changeling leader are a little overwhelming. Yeah, I know. That's basically what I said. He's dealing with the wants and needs of his subjects.
I just realized Trixie is wearing her default outfit, which is cool.
It does sound like a lot, but are you sure that last thing is real? The Dread Malworth? Sure it is. Thorax said it's like half bear, half mole, half raging pile of claws. But now that the changelings don't feed on the love of everything around them, plants have started to grow back. But this Malworth keeps eating them all up. Malworth. Uh-huh. You're just trying to scare me, but it won't work. Because not only am I the great and powerful, I am also the unscarable Trixie! Please tell me Thorax also mentioned a terrifying-looking changeling who greets visitors but is actually nice? Nope.
And I'm not nice.
Oh boy.
Starlight, you got us here. I'll take us home.
Oh boy.
Teleportation spell, go! Did I say this? No.
Oh crap. Oh, no intro, okay.
What are you waiting for? Use some magic to get us out of here! Calm down, unscarable Trixie. We have to find out what's going on. Thorax might need our help.
Scratchy face.
Our help. Teleportation spell, go! Teleportation spell, go! Ah! Teleportation spell! Ugh. Why do you keep doing that? You know it doesn't work that way. I know!
Go, teleportation.
I captured these trespassers.
Starlight! Trixie! It's okay, Pharynx. You can let them go.
But they were lurking on our grounds. In the old days, I would have already feasted on their love.
Well, that's why they're called the old days, because they're old. We don't do that anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the old days better.
What are you two doing here?
We wanted to surprise you. Surprise!
Well, it's great to see you. I'm sorry about the welcome committee.
I thought Ember helped you get more assertive so you could deal with all the renegade changelings who didn't want to change.
Oh, she did. Really helpful. I was able to convince all of them to change, except one of them, my brother.
Your brother?
Yep.
Him?
Pharynx is my elder broodmaid.
Oh, yeah. You guys have the same... eye shape?
What a ridiculous comparison. We are nothing alike.
Yep.
Stop doing that!
The hive looked better with holes.
Oh
boy.
Well, how about I show you the rest of the hive, where it's less loud and bangy? There have been a lot of changes since you were here last. I'm trying to start some new activities, since the only thing we did before was haunted patrol. There's theater. Swing dancing. A once-a-week potluck lunch?
Oh man, that's cool.
And who can change shape and organize craft time? This guy.
I am really impressed, Thorax.
That's cool.
The Hive, all the activities.
Oh, he did it again. Pharynx dumped an entire can of black paint on me. He said my fuchsia color wasn't intimidating to our enemies. What enemies?
I am so sorry. I promise I'll talk to him.
You're the ruler of the Hive, Thorax. You need to do more than talk.
Well, maybe not everything here is amazing. Seriously, Thorax, what is up with your brother?
Pharynx used to be head of patrol, but now we're peaceful and there's no need to patrol, so he just stalks around the Hive making everyone miserable. The other changelings are sick of it, and if I can't get them to accept love and friendship and change like the rest of us, everything I've done here is at risk.
Cute face.
We know a thing or two about what it's like to be outsiders. Maybe we could talk to him for you.
Do you really think you could help?
Sure.
Thorax, if there's any pony who can help your brother, it's me. And with Starlight helping, it might take slightly longer, but I guarantee you we can do it.
Thorax, we're ready to start work on the trail of plants to lead the Malwerf away.
No, I have to head outside. You're sure you're okay handling Pharynx?
Absolutely. Yeah, we totally got this.
Well, Trixie, you can always drop the table on him again. I mean, well, not again, but I mean, you could always drop the table
How do
again.
you want to play this? I'm thinking good pony, bad pony. You yell and blast him with magic, while my natural charisma will convince him that... Starlight? Hey, Pharynx! I know when we first met, it didn't go so well.
I put you in a bag. I thought it went great.
So, not a big fan of the vines, huh?
They're a safety hazard. An enemy could hide in them or use them as weapons. I don't even know why they're here.
Because they're pretty?
That's ridiculous.
Oh, totally. We get you. But maybe don't express how you feel by destroying them?
I don't take advice from ponies. The only thing I take from you is breakfast. At least I used to.
You know, you're a lot like us.
Doubt it.
It's true. Do you know who Twilight Sparkle is?
No.
Well, she's the most well-liked, studious, do-goodiest pony in Equestria.
Ugh, she sounds awful.
Oh, you'd hate her. I used to. She made me unsure about my place in the world, which led me to act out against her. And I used to be a dictator who ran a village with an iron hoof.
Really? Maybe you two do understand me.
Yes!
Oh, no.
But now, Trixie has come to terms with being second best. And I no longer control ponies against their will. And our lives are so much better for it.
Wow, so you're both losers. Stay away from me or I'll do to you what I did to the vines.
Well,
I can see a hater in that guy,
Malwerf
like
coming
people
along.
enjoying MLP,
How'd
and the
it
guy
go
like,
with
wow,
Pharynx?
you just became a wimp because you like the show.
Is, challenging.
Oh, that bad, huh?
It wasn't great.
You want to talk it out?
I got a
You can
mallet.
come with me to the
If you want
feelings
it.
forum.
I feel like what now?
Oh, it's a place for changelings to express their feelings so we all gain a better understanding of each other. It's really helped bring the Hive closer together.
Why do I have a feeling this is bad?
Sometimes I feel like I'm a blue changeling. Sometimes I feel like I'm a purple changeling. But here I am, a green one.
You can be anything you want to be. Be blue one day and purple the next. Be both on the same day.
But then I feel like I'd be living a lie.
It's very brave of you to share something so personal. Does anyone else have similar concerns?
I used to, but craft time has given me such a creative outlet, I feel great now.
Everyone loves craft time.
Well, everyone except for you-know-who.
Yeah, you know who spends all his craft time making spears.
He's scary and intimidating. You-know-who makes me uncomfortable.
He makes us all uncomfortable.
Everyone, please! I understand Pharynx can be challenging at times.
That's an understatement. He lined the hallway with thorns.
He teaches little changelings to growl and hiss.
My soup's too hot! What? I thought the Feelings Forum was for sharing our problems.
It sounds like your lame feelings forum is for talking about me behind my back.
The Feelings Forum is for talking
Feelings
about
Forum.
anything
Oh my
that's
gosh.
bothering you. Is there something you'd like to share, Pharynx?
Actually, there is. The Changelings used to be a fearsome swarm. Now we sit around talking about our feelings so much you can't even stop a malware from eating all your pretty plants. I could have sent that thing packing before, but I guess now we'll just try to lead it away and hope that keeps us safe.
I don't feel safe with him around.
I'd feel safer if he were gone.
I can't do that.
We want him banished! No.
Banish! Ex
Hey, my soup's cooled down. These Feeling Forums are great for solving problems.
Everyone,
I can imagine like the
please, if
theme
you are
from
interacting
The
with
Lion
each other,
King
we are not
to Simba's
above
Pride,
each
or
other.
The Lion King, yeah, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
Feelings Forum is over!
There's no other way. Nope, way.
Oh my gosh.
I want to say something, but it goes against everything I've been taught as Twilight's pupil.
Ooh, then by all means say it.
Thanks, Trix.
I think Pharynx is a lost cause.
I'm all for second chances. Third even, but he just seems like a bad bug.
I love the way
To
she
the whole
said that.
Hive, not just his brother.
If he
He's a
keeps
bad
sticking up
influence.
for Pharynx, the Hive might decide they don't want Thorax as their leader.
I think he might have to kick Pharynx out, but I don't want to be the one to tell
Oh
Thorax.
man, jeez.
Me neither. But some pony probably should. I nominate you.
Ugh.
Thanks. Oh crap.
Thorax, we have something to tell you.
Oh boy.
It's about Pharynx, isn't it?
Yep.
Maybe.
Look,
That
I know
was
he's an
adorable.
aggressive warrior type, but when I was little, every young changeling wanted to be like that. Every young changeling except me. The others would pick on me for not wanting to fight.
Look at the little grub playing with his dollies. Step away from my brother.
But Pharynx never let them hurt me.
We were just complimenting his dollies.
Whoa, dang!
Thanks, Pharynx. Why are you hitting yourself? Stop hitting yourself! Why are you hitting yourself? Ouch!
Cut it out, Pharynx.
You're right, you know. You need to have tougher skin.
Aw, that was a really sweet story. Until the end.
I know Pharynx loved me, in his own way, and I know there's still good in him. That's why I keep sticking up for him. Anyway, what did you want to talk to me about?
Me?
Crap. Oh jeez.
No.
Oh heck.
But, Starlight has something she...
Actually, Thorax, never mind. Come on, Trixie, we've got a thing to do.
What are you doing? I thought we agreed you'd tell Thorax he had to kick his brother out of the Hive.
Maybe we don't have to. Get Pharynx and meet me at the Hive entrance. I'll explain everything.
And how am I supposed to know where Pharynx is?
I just saw Pharynx.
We'll just use one problem to solve another. I
Oh,
switched
dear.
the trail of plants around to lure the Malwerf here.
Oh boy.
The changelings may not be able to stop it anymore, but Pharynx certainly can. When it attacks, he'll save his brother, showing every pony his good side. The others will accept him, and Pharynx will finally let love and friendship into his life and transform.
Wow.
I know, right? Great idea.
It's
Where's
gonna backfire.
Pharynx?
He's gone.
Gone to the throne room?
Gone like gone. One of the changelings said Pharynx left the Hive for good.
who's gonna stop the Dread Malwerf? I'm leading here!
Oh, crap. Oh, boy.
Thorax, there you are. Pharynx is missing. Wait for it. And the Dread Malwerf is coming this way. Told ya.
That doesn't make any sense. The trail of plants should have led the Dread Malwerf away.
I might have relayed them to lead it back toward the Hive.
Why would you do that?
I thought if Pharynx saw you were in danger, the loving, caring side of him would come out when he protected you.
But instead he's out there alone, somewhere between us and that rampaging monster? I have to save him.
Oh, boy.
I'm coming with you.
Of course you are. This is all your fault.
Oh, don't be too hard on Starlight. Her heart was in the right place.
You're coming too.
Oh, right. I mean, I was gonna volunteer anyway.
Who else is coming? Fine.
Oh, sure. You can all stay here, not help Pharynx, and he won't bother you anymore. It's your choice. But remember when you didn't have a choice, when you were forced to obey Chrysalis. You might have been unstoppable, but you weren't free to choose. And now you are, because of Thorax. Well, it's his brother out there. And now it's your chance to prove you're just as strong embracing love as you were feeding on it. Now is your chance to show what changelings can really be. Not because you have to, but because you choose to! That was an amazingly epic speech, Starlight. I just can't believe not a single changeling was moved by
Are you serious?
Blame them. If he wasn't my brother, I don't think I'd be here. We're gonna have to face the Malwerf by ourselves.
Oy.
Maybe it'll be long gone and we'll find Pharynx out here alone. Or maybe not.
Oh, so that's what it looks like.
Pharynx, what are you doing here? I'm
Saving your A, boy.
Get out of here! Let me handle this!
We're not leaving you!
Yeah, you seem to be doing a poor job. Smoke bombs.
I may have forgot to mention in my letters that Malwerfs have really thick hides.
Ow.
I thought you said you could beat this thing!
Yeah, with the rest of the swarm, not alone!
Good
Well, you
thing
might-
you're not alone.
What? Seriously?
I told you it was an epic speech.
It's no use. We're out of practice and he's too tough.
Hit him with a rock. And yep, that didn't work.
And strong! Too bad we can't get it to fight itself.
That's it! Thorax, remember when we were young and I made you hit yourself?
Now is not the time to make fun of me, Pharynx. Oh, right! Of course!
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Yeah, Malwerf, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
He's gonna. Oh, crap.
Ooh, that looks like it hurts. We did it! It's gone!
What were you doing out here?
Leaving. I'm done with all of you.
Oh, it's just why bother fighting the Malwerf then? You could have left it alone.
Well, I couldn't just let it attack you.
But I thought you were done with us and you didn't care.
I never said that. The Hive is the thing I care about most.
Well, you certainly don't act like it.
Well, I'm sorry if I don't get excited about pretty flowers and feeling circles and
It's a feelings forum.
whatever. It doesn't matter. Even if I do care about the Hive, I obviously don't have a place there anymore.
Actually, you do. because we've been wrong. The Hive may be a gentler, nicer place.
But that doesn't mean we won't have to defend ourselves. Clearly.
And who better to help us do that than the only changeling who never stopped protecting us?
You all want me to stay?
Unless you still want to leave the Hive.
Why would I want that? I love the Hive.
Hey, he's actually transforming. Wonder what he'll look. Wonder what he'll look like. Whoa! Dang! New paint job.
He did it! He transformed!
Nice paint job.
Had it in you.
Really? Because I thought you said I was a lost cause and you were going to tell Thorax he should kick me out.
Starlight! How could you say that? What? That's... I mean, but you...
Lucky for us, you weren't a lost cause.
Lucky for me, you didn't give up on me.
That's adorable.
Glad everything worked out.
Yeah! Let's talk about how you not only led the Malwarf to the Hive, but also drove my brother away from it.
I am so sorry about that. But I would like to point out that my admittedly terrible plan did bring everything together in the end.
Hey, do you guys want to hear the story about how I used to make Thorax hit himself?
Absolutely, yes, right now.
Well, when we were young, every changeling wanted to be a warrior. Except for Thorax. He was a little weak, and I had to bring him.
Okay, that was cute. That was cute. You know what? I gotta say, I really love this episode. I really did. I really love this episode. I can honestly say this is one of my favorite episodes of this season. It was this was a very cute episode, and it was really interesting. Like this actually made me think about the Lion King. Honestly, the Lion King to Simba's Pride. Actually, whenever Kovu was being exiled from the Pride Lands. And, like, I could just, like, whenever they were talking about banishing, I've already forgot his name, I'm an idiot. Whenever they were talking about, let me check the name. Whenever they were talking about banishing Pharynx, I actually was thinking to myself, like, I just had the image go through my mind of them, like, all the changelings standing on either side of this gorge, as Pharynx is walking down it, and some of them are just saying like deception, disgrace, and like it was just the Lion King 2 Simba's Pride there. But honestly, I really love this episode, and you know, believe it or not, I can actually see some relatability, honestly, with the fandom, not just the fandom, but people here. It was interesting because Thorax had adapted to a new way of living, and he was trying to introduce the other changelings into that same way, into a new, better way of living, which was better, and it was better for them, and it was better for everyone else, because the changelings weren't trying to feed off of love from others, and so they were living a much better life. However, Pharynx was used to the old ways, and he hadn't adapted to the new ways. He was stubborn. He didn't want to adapt to the new ways. He wanted to stick with the old ways, and Thorax made the mention about the old ways, about the past ways was in the past. And honestly, this kind of, I can see a sense of relatability here with present, not so much the fandom, but people. How today there are people who won't let go of the past, things that has happened in history in the past, and they continue to resent even today, like present generation who had nothing to do with what happened in the past, yet people still cling to that whenever they were never even alive back then. They cling to the stuff that their ancestors, our ancestors, had done, and they won't let it go. They won't adapt to modern times and move on. They still hold a bitterness within them from the past, even though they had nothing to do with it. And so I could see that here. Like, Thorax here is one of the people that has moved on, and it has adapted to the modern times, and has accepted it, and is willing to let the past go. Pharynx here wants to hold on to that. Now, it was interesting because the Hive felt threatened because Pharynx was there. Pharynx was used to the old ways. He was aggressive. He was a fighter. He was a warrior. Everyone else had more tone, were more calm. They were more tone. They had more calmed down and become more gentler, more calm, more kinder, and they were all adapting to that. And that, pardon me, and they actually enjoyed it. Like, some of them had found an interest in crafting and even theater, things like that. They had all found an interest in that, and they actually were happy for their new way of they were actually happy with their new way of living. But Pharynx was threatening that to them. They felt threatened because of his old ways, because he was resentful of the new modern ways and wanted to go back to that. But and so everyone else felt threatened because he was the only one left that had not adapted to it. And Thorax was in a position. He didn't want to just banish him because, number one, Pharynx is his brother. I mean, that's his blood. That's his blood. And he knew that there was still good in him. Even though nobody else saw it, he knew it was still there. And so he kept working with them because he wanted to help him. He knew that if his brother could adapt, it would be better for him. It could make him a better changeling. It could make him better, and he knew that it could help him, and he didn't want to give up on him. And honestly, this is actually something really cool. I mean, you know, there was that really good solid brother connection there. And so whenever Thorax found out that his brother was fighting that thing, I forgot what it was called, he found out that Pharynx was leaving the Hive because he didn't feel wanted. He didn't feel like he was welcome there. But he still loved his brother. Even still, he felt that he didn't belong. He still loved his brother and wanted to make sure that his brother was okay. That he didn't just shrug him off. He didn't just let him be. He wanted to make sure that his brother was safe. He wanted, pretty much like his last deed, to defeat this thing, to make sure that it did not attack the Hive, because he still loved the Hive. He still loved his brother, and he didn't want him to get hurt or be killed. And so he was still trying to actually defeat that because he still loved his brother. And it was interesting how that came out. Like, and it was really, really well done, really well played. It was a very interesting thing there, and I loved it, honestly. And then Thorax, and then Thorax, and then, well, Pharynx thanks Thorax for not giving up on him. And you know, that's really cool. I mean, that is honestly really cool, because there have been situations that where you can be put into where it can seem like somebody is a lost cause, but you don't want to give up on them. You want to keep going because you know you can help them. You want to help them. And you just want to keep being able to reach out to them. You want to reach out to them because you want better for them and you want to help them. And I love the dynamic here between Thorax and his brother Pharynx. I love how that played out. And I really love how even though Pharynx had changed, how he had adapted at the end, I mean, there was still that personality. Like, it didn't alter his personality. It didn't alter his personality severely. He was still aggressive. He was still kind of cocky, and but regardless, I mean, it showed that he still loved his brother, and he still wanted to do whatever he could for him. He still loved the Hive, which he called home, which he called family, and he was still willing to put himself in jeopardy for that, even if he didn't feel wanted. Like, he didn't just say, screw you. I mean, he was still trying to protect them because he cared. And this was really well done. I loved how that dynamic played out. It was really well done. It was honestly relatable, and it was very natural. It was really well done, and I really loved it. And so this probably, the message could, you could say that the message could be, hey, don't give up on someone because you can help them. And I would say that's true for the most part. it's not always going to be the case, though. It's not always going to be the case. Believe me, I know. There are some people whom you can work with. They're like a work in progress, and you can, if you don't give up on them, you can help them. You can help them to change or to adapt in a way that is better for them. But there are also times whenever there's nothing that you can do. And I was actually afraid that I was actually fearing that they were going to end the episode with Pharynx just go ahead and leaving, and the story being, you can't change everybody. You can't change everybody. But honestly, that would be kind of too dark, too real for this show. And although this show is pretty real with the content and the nature that they take with the stories and the characters, still there are some things that even still it shouldn't be done, because this isn't a reality show. This is a cartoon, and this isn't a reality cartoon. This is a fantasy cartoon. And we watch these because there's enough of reality outside your freaking front door, And so why would we want to watch a cartoon about reality whenever all we have to do is step outside our dang front door? And so I really love how that they played this out here. I really love how that worked. And like I said, it didn't alter Pharynx's personality completely. Like, there was still his personality there. I mean, he was still like the jokey kind of jokey big brother who just kind of had fun picking on his little brother. Yet even still, he enjoyed picking on him and like messing with him. He still loved him. He was willing to get himself killed just for his brother. And again, I love how that played out. I love how that they did that. And again, I love how that natural feeling is there. And there are people like that, siblings that they might bicker. Again, that isn't always the case, but there are times whenever there are siblings that bicker, make fun of each other, have fun, but they truly love each other, and they would really do whatever they could for each other. They're there for each other. They have each other's backs. Again, that's not always the case, I know, but again, I really love how that played out, and I really loved it. I really loved this. And going over the episode itself, for me personally, this was a really cool episode. I loved how that this focused on Starlight and Trixie. It was interesting to be able to see that. Like the rest of the main six wasn't present. And I'm not saying that I don't enjoy seeing any of the main six. It isn't that. But this show itself is so diverse. It's so large. There is such a roster of characters with such good personalities, with such good stories, that it could focus on any character, even Trixie and Starlight and Thorax, and there is enough development with these characters. They have enough personality, enough unique individualism, that it makes them unique, and it makes them each stand out all on their own. And I love how that plays. I love how well-rounded that all the characters are, how deep and intense and realistic and natural that all of the characters are. And again, I love how that plays out. And again, it's like, I was not bored watching this episode. I was not bored because it didn't focus on the main six. I love this episode just as much as I did the other episodes. In fact, this is honestly probably one of my favorite episodes of this season. And again, it was just really cute. And again, going over bits and pieces of the episode, it's really cool because this is the first time that I can recall since Trixie and Starlight actually, this is the first time in a while, actually, that we've seen Trixie in her normal wizard gear, and it's cute. It's cute to see her back in her typical wizard gear. And again, we got those little moments where she referred to herself as the great and powerful Trixie. Again, she referred to herself in third person again. And we haven't heard that in a while. Like, since she became friends with Starlight, she had been talking in typical first person. But here she actually referred to herself in third person again, going back to her typical, going back to the typical Trixie. It was a really cool, it was really cool for that. Although I have to admit, I'm glad she didn't constantly refer to herself in third person. Sometimes referring to herself in third person is fine, but I really liked it whenever she was talking in her natural sense, in her natural first person way. But again, I love again, as always, I love the dynamic between Trixie and Starlight here. Starlight is the more grounded, more logical, more is the person more willing to listen to reason and think of logic. Trixie is more sarcastic, kind of more sassy with things, and I love how that plays out. Again, it's a very interesting dynamic. But again, I mean, yeah, you can see that they mess with each other, that they may irk each other a little bit because of the different way that they do things. Yet still, they love each other. They care about each other. They're best friends, and they will do whatever they can for each other. And again, that's really cool, and it's really natural. And I love, again, how that plays out. I love how that they're not always on the exact same page. It's real. It's natural. Like, best friends don't always have to be on the same page with something in order for them to get along. And I love how that they're not exactly on the same page with everything. I mean, that's how they're not totally on different pages with some things here. But again, they're still friends. They're still there. They're not questioning their friendship. They're not questioning each other. They may think about, decking each other, one maybe. But again, it's all fun, and they're still buds, and I love it. And I love that how Trixie was thinking that Starlight was just messing with her. And whenever Pharynx first appeared, I thought, whenever Trixie made the mention about her not being scared, I thought back to I think it was the times they are a changeling before. I think it was, or it was the episode whenever Trixie, Starlight, and Thorax had to work with Discord right there, and I thought about Trixie being scared there. And it was funny how Trixie took cover behind Starlight, like, protect me, you are my shield. She knew that, like, she kind of knew that Starlight was the brave one, and honestly, I thought at first that this was actually Thorax just playing a game with them. Then I realized, oh no, it's actually not. And another thing I really liked here in this particular scene is how Starlight immediately jumped into action. Like, she wasn't, I mean, she was scared, but she was also aggressive. Like, Trixie was scared to death. Like, she was scared crapless, basically. And Starlight immediately jumped into action. She took a stance, and she fired her. I have to say it. Firing my laser. She fired a laser at Pharynx, and I keep wanting to say Larynx. I'm sorry. Like, she fired her laser at him, and again, I love how that she just jumps into action, and then Trixie tried to do a teleportation spell, which results in them getting bagged and dragged. And I thought it was really cute here how how Trixie is basically on Starlight's back. Or I think, yeah. And how Trixie kept saying, go teleportation, go teleportation. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just thinking of Inspector Gadget, like Go Gadget Chopper. And I'm just waiting for Trixie. And we got a scrunchy face. We also got an adorable scrunchy face with Trixie. I mean, scrunchy faces never get old. And it's interesting because we see that Trixie, of course, Trixie isn't as powerful with magic as Starlight is, and that's obvious. And it's not that Trixie is terrible at magic. It's just she's more of a trickster with her magic. She more uses her magic for smaller things, and Starlight knows more powerful, more complex spells. And Trixie, I mean, it made Trixie happy whenever she was able to transform objects into teacups. And so she can't do a teleportation spell here, but Starlight can, just like that, completely on a whim. And it's an interesting dynamic here because, again, like, Starlight is the more powerful magic prowess here as opposed to Trixie. I'm not really sure if we'll see more development with Trixie learning more in the future. But then again, I don't really think we really need to. It would be interesting, but at the same time, I think it makes for an interesting dynamic here with these two. And then we also finally get to see how the new Hive looks and how it's more brighter, how things are coming back to life, how it's more alive. And I think it's better. I think it really looks better. It's not the dark, dingy area. Now it actually is giving birth to life. It's actually harboring life. And I really think that, and personally, I really like it. Another little moment, again, there actually was some interesting and cute faces with Trixie and Starlight here, and there was some really cute moments with these two. Now, this moment with the Changelings and Shakespeare Theater here, this is interesting. Like, this is interesting. I can only imagine how that's going to go with artwork. And then we have the Changelings dancing, which is cool. And then we have this supper deal here that they have. With them like preparing food and things like that, which is interesting. And again, it's interesting to see these changelings like adapting, and then again, the changelings can like doing art, doing paint, and very interesting to see how things are actually progressing there. There was some really cute faces here that was made by Starlight and Trixie throughout this episode. Like, it was just really adorable moments with these two. And again, I love seeing these two work together. I love seeing these two, the dynamics between them as they're working off of each other, and how they're just, again, it's interesting with their personalities. It's interesting with their personalities. Again, they have two completely different personalities, yet they're friends, and it's really interesting to see this. Like, Trixie didn't really want to help out. Starlight wanted to, and so Trixie kind of got dragged along. But again, I love the dynamic between these two. It's really, really well done. It's natural, and it feels real, and it's just really cute. Then this little moment whenever Trixie makes a mention about, let's play good cop bad. I mean, like let's play good pony bad pony. It was basically like the good cop bad cop thing, you know, that you see in the buddy cop movies. And you know, honestly, thinking about it, I would like to see fan art of like Trixie and Starlight as like cops, as like 90s cops or something in your cliche buddy cop movie, and they're like playing the good cop bad cop deal. That actually would be really cool to see. But it was interesting to see these two here, Starlight, and this little moment whenever Starlight just begins walking forward, like just ignoring Trixie, like, okay, like she just lets her ramble on, and it was really cool. And again, it's a little that little detail, but again, that walk cycle is also really, really well done. It was also interesting to see this moment whenever Trixie and Starlight begin to talk to Pharynx about their past, and about how Trixie wanted pretty much to be superior, wanted pretty much to be the superior, she wanted to be the superior, most powerful unicorn, and so she wasn't really for friendship in the beginning, but Twilight was able to help her to see the error of her ways and how she was acting, and because of that, she was able to become friends with Starlight. And Starlight, you know, she tried to be an evil dictator and tried to take over an entire village. But again, Twilight showed her the error of her ways, introduced her to friendship, and through that friendship, she was able to become friends with not only Twilight, but also Trixie. And then at first Pharynx thinks that there is a similarity between them, but then Starlight reveals that because they were introduced to friendship, because they were introduced to that, it made their lives better. Like, their lives are better, they're happier, and there's two things to view here, and this is really, really understandable. Starlight and Trixie were both bitter. They were bitter because of their past, because of the okay, we don't really know Trixie's backstory, but we do know Starlight's. And they were both bitter, and they were headed down a very dark path. But Twilight was able to show them both friendship. And through that friendship, Starlight and Trixie were able to become friends. And so now they have experienced that friendship. And neither wants to go back to their old ways. Their lives are better. Starlight says that here herself. Their lives are better because they were introduced to friendship. They have that friendship now. They feel loved. They're able to give love. And now they feel better. They're happier. They're enjoying life more. They're enjoying having friends. And now they're able to share that experience. And even though, like, Starlight isn't happy about what she done in the past, she knows that she can use that as an example to help other ponies, to help other whatever that they may encounter. She knows that she can be an example, and she can help others because she herself was headed down a dark path. But through friendship, she was able to see what she was doing wrong, and now she has changed for the better. And honestly, this is also, I mean, this can apply to people in, you know, real life. Like, you're headed down a dark path, and, like, all it takes is one friend to make you see the light of day, and then suddenly you're in a better place. You're happier. And you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. But, I mean, you know how bad that it was, and you don't want to go back. And that's Starlight here. That's Trixie. Now Pharynx's reaction to pretty much, wow, you're both wusses. This kind of makes me think about, like, haters, honestly, with MLP. Like, a hater, like, they find out, well, I like My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. I love the show. It's cute. And they think you're a wuss because you know you like the show, because you're not watching, like, manly things, and you know you're watching this, and so you're a wuss. I mean, how many times have we been called that? How many times have we been insulted simply because we watched the show? And so, yeah, but I can see the relatability with that. It was interesting whenever Pharynx introduced this little forum thing here for the changelings. He called it a forum. Interesting. And I like this, like a 60s, 70s flower child changeling here. I really like that. That is really cool. I really like her design. Really, really cool for that. Whenever Starlight felt that, like, she didn't know what to do with Pharynx, like, she said that she's going to say something which goes against what she was taught about friendship. And she believed that Pharynx was a lost cause. And it was really cute whenever Trixie, like, made that mention to her that she agreed. And she called, I mean, I loved it whenever she called, I loved it that moment whenever she said Pharynx was just one bad bug. That was adorable. Like, how, I mean, like, that line, how it was delivered, I just loved it. But it was interesting here because, like, this was going against what Starlight believed. This, I mean, she thought she could help, and here she felt, like, challenged because she didn't know of a way to help, and she really thought the only thing to do was to exile him. And, you know, again, I don't know why, but that just popped into my mind, and it kind of made me think, pardon me, it kind of makes me think about the Brony fandom, like, a few years ago, how the mentality of the fandom back then was love and tolerate, and now, like, it's just kind of different than that. I don't know why that just popped in. It popped into my mind, but it's kind of like Starlight and Trixie are, like, kind of like the Bronies here, and the Pegasisters, and they kind of feel like that's just my interpretation, my, you know, in my personal thought on it. There are other ways that you could look at it, you know, with people. Like, there's someone that is disruptive to a cause, someone that is disruptive. Actually, you know, that can actually be applied to other areas of life outside of the Brony fandom. Like, people in a community or in a cause or something that is just disruptive. They're trying to change it. They're trying to cause chaos and disruption amongst it, and you're not really sure what to do. It doesn't seem like you can get through to them, like they are a lost cause. But again, going back to the fandom, it's kind of what it seems like. Like, there were people who, like, hated the show, especially hated the bronies, and no matter what you did, you just couldn't get through to them. And it feels, like the only way just pretty much to ignore them, which there is a difference. Like, with that, you can't ignore them. Here, they were thinking, the only other option was to just force Pharynx to leave, and they really didn't know of any other option. They were going to tell Thorax about that, and this little moment, again, I love the faces in this episode that the characters make here. It's just really, really cute. Again, I mean, like, the facial expressions, the characters' movements and things, it's just like, it's just so much more improved, and I love how adorable and fun that it is, how lively that it is. And it's interesting to see this backstory with Thorax as a child, and getting bullied by other changelings because he wasn't into the same things that they were, yet he had a big brother that would stand up for him. And even though his brother stood up for him, still, the little sibling rivalry thing, the mole thing to the Hive, in an attempt. I mean, I honestly could see what she was doing. She thought that by Pharynx showing what he could do, showing that he still loved his brother, that it would show others how he really was, and so it would allow them to be able to see his true colors, and so they would welcome him. And so what Starlight was trying to do, I mean, her heart was in the right place, and I mean, it was in the right place, and she was trying to do the only other thing that she knew how to do, because she was trying to help Pharynx and Thorax. She wanted him to, like, be welcomed and feel welcomed, and so she was trying to do the only thing that she knew how. And it was really cute how excited that that Starlight got at the concept of Pharynx changing and being just like accepting that. And like, you could see how Starlight has also evolved, like how much she wants to help now, and how happy that it makes her whenever at the concept of someone actually being helped. And another really cool moment here that I mean, Trixie was really comical in this episode. Whenever the changelings begin to celebrate because Pharynx is gone, and she's like, wait for it. And then Starlight reveals, oh, well, he left, but I might have jeopardized everybody. And then Trixie's just like, told you. Because everybody else begins to panic, and Trixie, again, I really love this. Again, the really cool thing about this particular moment here is whenever the rest of the changelings were not going to help, because they didn't really have any feelings for Pharynx, and so they didn't really want to help. But this moment right here, whenever Starlight stepped up, like, she stepped up and made them realize. And I honestly, this was one of my favorite moments right here in this episode. Oh, freaking heck, I didn't mean to unfull screen that. This was honestly one of my favorite moments in this episode. Here, this was honestly one of my favorite moments whenever Starlight begins to tell them that before they were under Queen Chrysalis rule. They were forced. They didn't have a choice. They didn't have freedom, but now they had freedom. Now they had a choice. And were they really going? I mean, and now they had that freedom. They had that choice. They had been liberated, and now they had a choice. They had a chance. And honestly, this particular moment here with Starlight, for me, really showed me here just how much, like, of a take charge kind of person that Starlight is. And that's not a bad thing. Like, that is honestly a good thing, because she honestly like, in this moment, she showed that she does have a way with words. She does have a way with speeches. She does have a way of communicating. And yeah, it's not always a guarantee. Like, she's not always, I mean, obviously she's not always going to be able to do that. But right here, she took charge. She hated seeing these others just stand back and not doing anything. And she tried to talk some sense into them and tried to tell them they didn't have a choice before. Now they did. And they had the freedom of choice. And I loved how much of a leader, how much that Starlight took control of that leadership role here. And her speech, I loved her speech and just how she presented herself there, and how strong that she delivered it, and how powerful, and how much of a leader that she put herself in here at this particular moment. And like, she did a fantastic job with this, and she really done a really great job. And Trixie telling her that was a really epic speech was great. And then you find out none of the changelings showed up, which was hilarious. But I mean, it was also hilarious that Starlight was feeling down, like, well, I did all that for nothing. But again, like, this episode, again, that moment with Starlight right there was honestly one of my favorite moments in this entire episode, because of just how much that she, in that moment, took charge, and she was a leader. And again, I loved how that played out, how she delivered that, and just how she handled herself there. I mean, it was really, really well done. And that's not saying that, Starlight is going, I mean, yeah, she is improving. I'm not saying that she's going to develop to always be good. Obviously, she's not going to be. But then none of the characters are. Starlight isn't perfect. She's going to make mistakes. Trixie isn't perfect. She's going to make mistakes. None of the characters are perfect. They're all going to make mistakes. And this is a relatable moment with Starlight, because there are situations in life whenever a moment can come around where you can take charge, and you end up taking charge because it just kicks in, and you take charge. And the next time, it might not kick in, you might not take charge, but at some points it will kick in, and you will be able to lead. And this was really well done. I loved how that played out with Starlight there. And again, it was interesting, Trixie using her smoke bombs, which made me think about, I mean, obviously that's, before in the past, but I've been playing the My Little Pony game, and I had to make a freaking lot of those smoke bombs just to get into the Changeling Empire on that game for Trixie, and oh my gosh, I had to make a freaking lot of those. But it was also really cool whenever the Changelings realized, you know what? She's right. It took them a while to figure it out, but they're like, you know what? She's right. So we're going to help out. And so they all tried working together, and so Pharynx realized, hey, I have a way to beat this guy. We can use the same method that I used on you. And so they ended up making him beat himself up, and then he retreated. And so then we got this interesting conversation between Pharynx and Thorax, where they're talking to each other about, basically, about Pharynx's leaving the Hive, basically that he's still welcome, and why would he still defeat that mole creature if he wanted to leave. And then Pharynx felt welcome again, and he was able to change and get a brand new dang good paint job. I mean, wow, that's a really good paint job. I really like that color. Really nice. And the wings are also really, is that a wing? Yeah, that's a wing. Okay. Or is that a tail? I don't know. Could be a tail. I don't know. I can't. Yeah, it's a tail. Okay, yeah, it's a tail. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I really like his design, and again, his personality pretty much are made the same. And then Trixie accidentally blabs about how Starlight was pretty much the one that put everybody in jeopardy, kind of, yeah, in the beginning. Well, no, Trixie kind of blabbed that Starlight originally was going to say that Thorax, that Pharynx should probably be exiled, and then Starlight tried to, like, she tried to think of something to say there, but she couldn't think of anything. She pretty much like, I am going to kill you later. I love you, but I'm still going to kill you. And then again, Starlight tried to help in the only way that she knew how. And again, she might have made a mistake, but at the same time, she did come through. I mean, she helped the Changelings. I mean, even though her plan to make Pharynx try to save Thorax didn't work out, she was able to take charge. She was able to lead and help the other Changelings to see the error of their ways. And if it hadn't been for her, they wouldn't have saw that. They would not have helped out. And again, just adorable faces with Trixie and here and little Glimmy Glam here. And so again, really love that moment whenever Trixie just kind of like cowers next to Starlight, just like, just kind of hides and like, okay. And just like she slowly fades, just moves down, and then just completely hides. Like, okay, I'm just gonna hide over here behind my best friend, you know. Really hilarious. Starlight was sorry for what she tried to do, but she was trying to help out. But you know, again, she did make a mistake. But again, you know, it did work out. And she tried to help out. She didn't do it like on purpose with intentions of harm. She did it because she wanted to help. And she kind of got out of it because she was able to get Pharynx to tell the story about him and Thorax. But again, very cute episode. Very cute. And again, I really love this. Again, with Starlight and Trixie here working together, and that dynamic between them. And again, no, you know, they might not have made the best decisions in this episode, but then again, it's realistic because we, as you know, we people, we never make the best decision. We never make the best decisions either. So to say that Starlight should have thought that through better is demanding too much, because how many times have you been in a situation where you're like, whenever somebody looked at you and said, dude, you should have thought that through better. Again, so there are times whenever something like that happens and you won't make the best decisions. But again, it did work out. And so again, I really did enjoy this episode. It was cute, it was fun. And again, some really cute moments with Starlight and Trixie here. But again, I really want to thank everybody that worked on this episode. Hasbro DHX. Why is my camera blurring? It didn't used to do that. What's wrong with you? Hello. Again, I really want to thank everybody, Hasbro DHX, everybody for working on this episode. Again, this was a cute, fun episode. I really loved it. It was really well done. It was relatable. It was understandable. Again, thank you to everybody that worked on this. Really appreciate it. All the hard work and effort that you guys put into it. So thank you so much. Also, hope you guys enjoyed as well. And again, please let me know what you think. Again, anything you want to have or anything you want to say in the comments below. Again, thank you guys again for joining me. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.